Do presets help you? Are they cheating? Do they hurt the process? How do I use them? Let's get into it. So let's start with the first question. Do presets help you? I would say yes, they can. When pulling up a certain type of plugin, like a reverb or delay, or any type of other special effect plugin, like a chorus or flanger or a phaser, you get the point. I find it's better and quicker for me to go through the presets to learn about the plugin, what it can and can't do, for new and different ideas. But usually for EQs or compressors or saturators, I'm pretty well versed in those types of plugins and or effects. So when using something like a new EQ, I have certain frequencies that I go to so I can see what this new EQ can bring from what I have already. Now let me show you some examples. Let's take this McDSP F202 high pass and low pass filter. So right now, it's on the factory default. So if we click on that, let's go to one of my presets. As you can see, I have it named ZZZ in front of my name. Reason being, I always want it to be the last preset so I can quickly get to it. I don't have to look through folders or anything like that. And so let's go to my preset, Mark Ellis /effects/startup/version1 or V1. With this preset, I usually set this plugin after an effect. So that way I can get rid of the low end anywhere from 300 and down, and then it goes up to 7K and up. So I'm getting rid of everything from 7K and up. I automatically got this set up for this. So I usually put this after any effect that I have on a vocal, on a snare, anything like that. Now, do I use this all the time? Of course not. There's some effects that I don't put this after, or I just deactivate the plugin, but I have it there just in case I want to use it. So this is just one instance. Now let's go to another plugin. Let's go to the Fuse Audio Labs VCS-1. It's a great channel strip. I mentioned this plugin before, but let me show you one, especially this feature. If you go to factory default, hit preset, and then let's scroll all the way down to ZZZ Mark Ellis expander only V1. And as you can see, I have everything turned off. The preamp, filters, the EQ, the compressor, but I do have the gate expander on. And in this case, I just have the expander on. The reason being is because this expander is sick. Now, my go-to usually is the Waves RVox, but I've been going to this a lot lately. And as you can see, I set this up to be my main preset for my expander. We have the threshold at -38, the range at 60 dB, the attack at 0.10 milliseconds, the ratio at 2. Now, 2 right now, but this either goes down or up, just depending on the audio. And then the release is at the fastest, 0.05 seconds. That's my go-to when I pull this up for the expander. Now, being that this is always my setting for the expander, I made it into a preset. So that way I can automatically have this pull up so I don't waste time resetting these settings all the time, which I used to do. Now this will enable you to move quickly through a mix with certain presets already set up for your plugins. Now, the next question, is this cheating? Well, no. The reason why this isn't cheating is because there is no cheating. There is no cheating in mixing. There's just no way you can cheat. It's just like setting up your hardware for certain situations. I would have a hardware compressor already set up for my mix bus. Would I change it? Absolutely. But I would get a basic setup for it, and I still do the same thing. I get a basic setup for my compressors or EQs if I know that I'm going to use it in a certain type of way. Now, before I go on to the next plugin, let me address one thing while I'm looking at it. If you can see at the bottom of this plugin, it says NFR. And what that means is not for resale. Because I'm a beta tester for Fuse Audio Labs, you'll be able to see that on a few other plugins from other plugin manufacturers as well, because I beta test for a few plugin companies. And what beta testers do is pretty much we try to catch bugs and make sure that a plugin works really efficiently with the DAWs that we use. I happen to use Pro Tools, Studio One, and Logic. I have another video on that as well coming up. Now let's go to another plugin. We have here the Eventide SP 2016 reverb. Absolutely phenomenal reverb. Now, as you can see on this plugin, it actually has presets connected to the actual reverb. But I've already went through all of these presets. And so what I've done is I then saved what I thought would be my go-to preset, the ZZZ Mark Ellis Startup-V1. And as you can see, it's a stereo room verb. And I have the mix all the way up 100%, pre-delay at 30 milliseconds, decay at 3 seconds, the position at 60%, diffusion at 100%, and so on. This is how I want to pull up this plugin. And so on Pro Tools, they'll give you a setting under presets. And if I set this to set as user default, well, every time I pull this plugin up, it'll actually come right up with this preset instead of the factory default preset. Very cool tip. So let's go to the next plugin. See here, the Waves H Delay. I really like this plugin. It's my go-to delay plugin, and right now it's on factory default. So let's switch this to my preset, ZZZ Mark Ellis-H Delay. And you can see here, I don't use the depth or rate. I have it on the 1/4 delay, 120, which is the actual session BPMs. I have it on a ping pong delay, feedback at 60, high pass at 400, low pass at 3K. I always turn off the analog, it's just hiss, so I have it on off. The output is at 0 and dry wet is at 100, meaning that I usually put this on a bus or on a auxiliary on its own channel. So I have audio coming to this plugin like I can tell you like a lead that it actually adds to that lead. So all my effects have a certain simplified preset startup. Now, again, I don't always use this. I may put it on 1/8 or 1/16. I may not put it on ping pong delay. I definitely don't always do that. But I mainly put this so I won't forget to put it on ping pong delay to just try it out. But most times I will take ping pong delay off and just have it in a stereo setting. Now, let's go to one last plugin. Let's see, IK Multimedia Mixbox. Now, this is a newer plugin for me at least, and I went through all the different plugins, I guess you can say, within this plugin. Since I own most of the plugins within this unit, I wanted to get one plugin that actually had a little bit more variety. So after going through all the plugins, I really liked this one EQ plugin. Let me show you. So let me go to presets. As you can see, it's on factory default and there's no plugins there. But if I select mine, which is ZZZ-Mark Ellis-EQ-Startup version 1, you see I have a parametric EQ. Now, let me go to 2 here so I can show you this plugin real quick. So, of course, empty, and then you have different amps. You have channel strip plugins, meaning EQ compressors all in one. Delays, distortion, dynamics, EQ, filters, modulations, reverb, and saturation. But when going through all of these, this one EQ, even though it looks really simple, really stood out to me. And so why? Let's see why it stood out. Well, because for some reason at this frequency, 50 with the Q being at 0.70, and with the mid, it had a really nice mid-tone. So 1.5, the Q at being at 0.50, and again, 0.5. I'm only raising it up just a little bit. Now, again, this is just a starting point. The reason why I set these settings is just so I put it on, I see how it sounds. If I like it, then I'll go forward. I may put more low end. I may put a different frequency. With the mids, I may put it at 1.4 or 2K. Just depends on the song. I may put the Q at 0.3 or 0.7. Just depends. Again, depends on the song. But this is a great starting point for this plugin for me. Now, let's answer the last question. Can presets hurt your mix process? Well, it can. How? Look, you can set up presets for all your plugins. That's great. But if you're only using the presets, that alone is not mixing. Look, I gave you preset ideas, but that doesn't mean to stick with that only. Look at the presets, see where I start from, and even if you don't have the plugin, at least you see where I'm starting, and then create your own. Create your starting point. How would you start? When you're mixing, be creative. It's good to start off with presets, but let that lead you to somewhere better, greater. Have fun with it. Pull up a vocal and start messing with the EQ. And maybe you'll come up with something different and then save that as a preset. Maybe you want it to sound like you're talking through an iPhone that's going through a distortion box, that's going through a compressor or limiter. Whatever it is, be creative and then create presets for that. Or, like me, go through each plugin and create a starting point. That will save you time if you see that you use a plugin all the time and you keep pulling up the same settings. Go ahead, create a preset for it. Just don't let it get stagnant. Don't keep using the same preset over and over and over again. Switch it up, change it up a little bit. It makes the mix process a lot funner, a lot better, and I promise you, you'll learn a lot more. I hope you like this video, and I'll see you at the next video.